Hello viewers, welcome to K Diagnostics, Dio here. Today we have a 2007 Chrysler Sebring with a 2.4 liter. The customer complaint is that the coolant level has been dropping. So there's a coolant leak and he also noticed a little bit of coolant on his driveway. So what we're going to do is we're going to fix this coolant leak. I will show you where the coolant leak is. I mean, it's pretty obvious. The top of the transmission is completely wet. I can see coolant on the transmission. So it's leaking from the thermostat housing. So I'll show you how to remove and replace a thermostat housing on this video. And then it also has another oil leak on the valve cover gasket. But I'm not gonna include both of them in one video. So this video is gonna be about how to remove and replace the thermostat housing, like I said. And then I'll make another one for the valve cover gasket how-to video. So I'm gonna bring you guys here under the hood so I can show you the leak, and then we will remove this thermostat housing. Alright, so we are here under the hood. I'm gonna show you the coolant leak first. So there is the thermostat housing. So this plastic that you see here, this plastic housing is part of the thermostat housing. And if you look down there underneath, you'll see, do you see that coolant over there? Do you see that green liquid? That's coolant. And that's coolant leaking from the thermostat housing right here. So this is really obvious. We don't have to pressurize the cooling system. The leak is right there. We can really see it. So let's dive right into it. What we're gonna do is we're gonna remove this air filter box and this inlet duct out so we can have access to the thermostat housing. So we're gonna remove this and then get to the thermostat housing. Let's get this out of here. I will try to get my hands out of the way as much as possible. Hopefully my hands don't stick in the way. I'm gonna remove this engine cover. And then let's just put this aside. Actually, I can remove it. Put this right here. I am undoing the inlet tube. There's another clamp down here on the throttle body. So the tube just came out. You can just see it right here. So let's disconnect this intake air temperature sensor. Get that out of the way. And now I'm gonna undo this 10mm bolt. And this air filter box just pops out. So you just pop it out like this and remove it. So we are making progress. And here is our upper radiator hose. We're gonna disconnect it too. And then we should get access to our thermostat housing. So I actually didn't drain the coolant. I mean, there wasn't enough coolant in the system anyways because it's leaking so bad. So I didn't even bother draining it. So you will see coolant come out once I undo this radiator hose. Yes, I have a drain container under the vehicle. I'm not letting coolant dump on the floor. Alright, so I'm gonna disconnect this wiring harness. You don't have to do this. I'm just gonna do it so that you guys can have a better view of what I'm about to do. But you can get around this wiring harness and remove those bolts. I'm just gonna remove this so that you guys can have a better view. So I'm just doing the extra step for you guys. Do you see? This is how much I love you guys. Alright, so right here, now I can lift this harness up so you can have a better view of the thermostat housing. Alright, let's keep skinning our cat slowly. So now let's disconnect this coolant temperature sensor up here. Gonna disconnect that, and I can just push this back here. I can get a bungee cord to hold this up. My thermostat housing bolts are right there. I'm gonna show you all the crust that coolant has built right there on the top of the transmission. So I'm gonna get a bungee cord and hold these wires up here. Alright, right here, just like handcuffs. So the next step is gonna be disconnecting the lower radiator hose. Same process, grab your clamp and then pull it back. There we go. Then kind of just rock your hose back and forth. If it doesn't come down, oh, right here, just rock it back and forth, and here it comes. Whoa! It's raining! No, I'm just kidding, it's not. Alright, so I'm just gonna sit that aside, and right there. So we got 2 bolts here. 1, 2, 3. Actually 3 bolts. And then we have 2 other heater hoses back here that go into the heater core. I don't know if you guys will be able to see that, but I will bring you guys over here so I can show you these 2 heater hoses that I'm about to disconnect. Alright, so here is our thermostat housing. This is the orifice for the lower radiator hose, and this one is for the upper radiator hose. And the thermostat housing has got 3 bolts. Let me see if I can put a better light here so you can see. So we have 1 bolt over here, and then there's another one down here. Can you see that? So we have this bolt. I hope you can see my finger there. So we have this bolt here, and then another one there, and then there's another one back here. I don't think I'm gonna be able to show it to you guys because of the angle, but maybe. I don't know if you can see that. No, you probably won't be able to see. It's just right here, right at this angle, right here, right there, right at this angle. You won't. I mean, I won't be able to get the camera there to show it to you. Or I can show it to you once I get the housing off. Anyways, so that's what we're gonna do so that the thermostat housing can come out. Alright, so the next thing we're gonna do is gonna be disconnecting these heater hoses. So this one here, and then the other one down here. These are the heater hoses that go to the heater core over there in the firewall. So I'm gonna undo these 2 hoses, and then we're gonna remove the thermostat housing bolts. Alright, so let's see if this is going to work. I'm gonna undo this clamp while I'm holding the camera. Okay, that wasn't too bad. Just rock it back and forth. Okay, so if it's not coming out, I'm gonna grab a flat screwdriver so we can pry it. There. It's right there, just get it gentle. Just pry the hose. You don't wanna puncture the hose or make a hole in it. And then just rock it back and forth, and there it comes. So we got 1 disconnected. So now there's 1 more down here. Perfect. So I just moved that clamp. So now I can bring in the big mama. I can bring in this big clamp here, this big Guys, this is pretty easy to do. It's being a little bit hard because I'm doing it one-handed. Otherwise, I could have taken it out by now. It's because I'm holding the camera with one hand, and then I'm trying to do the filming and the working, which can be annoying sometimes. But I want to share this with you. So, right there. So I got this one. So now let's rock this hose back and forth. Right there. Good. So we got both hero hoses removed. So now we can come back here, move the 3 bolts that hold the thermostat housing. Actually, before we do that, I want to show you, do you see this white spot over here? You see this? This has been made by coolant. This is caused by coolant leaking on top of this sticker. There used to be a sticker here, but coolant was leaking here and over time. And this is a leak that had been going on, you know, for a while. It started leaking slowly, and over time it just got bigger and he couldn't do it anymore. I don't know how he didn't notice it, but yeah, it looks like it's been leaking for a while. So next thing, let's undo these bolts, 3 of them, and then our thermostat housing is gonna be able to come out. All right, so there's one bolt over here. These bolts are actually 10mm bolts. And then there's another one here. It's under this motor. Alright, so here is the first one. We're gonna put it up here. And then there's another one just right behind there. Alright, so here comes this one, and then now I can remove the center one. And once this is removed, my thermostat housing should be able to come out. And right here, so I can rock it back and forth already. Right there. Right here. So here comes my thermostat housing. Here it is. So I actually didn't know that this Chrysler has got 2 thermostats. Because when I got this, because I had already ordered the part, when I ordered it, it came with 2 thermostats. I was like, oh really? Wow, interesting. You know, so there's a thermostat here, and then there's another one. If you look closely in there, there's another thermostat right there. So it's got 2. Anyways, let's see what it was leaking from. I don't know if we can tell. Well, this gasket here is really flat. This gasket has flattened really bad. It's supposed to stick out just slightly, but anyways, well, there was a leak around this area, so either one of these 3 of these gaskets was leaking. So let's get this out of the way. I'm just gonna put it right here on the cart. So this is where our thermostat housing lives. I'm gonna remove this gasket. I will install a new gasket there, and I'm gonna clean up this surface here, this matting surface. I'm gonna clean this really good, and then I'll bring you guys back up so we can put it back together. Actually, before I clean this up, I want to show you the new part. All right, ta-da! Here's the new part. There is a part number. It's a Napa part. In case you wanted the part number, there it is. So here is the whole assembly. Okay. So we got our thermostat housing. Oh, look at this. Doesn't that look good? We got the new unit right here, and it comes with the other thermostat and the o-ring for that tube back there. Alrighty, so just to show you the new toy. Alright, so I'm gonna clean up there and then I'll bring you guys back up so we can install this. Alright, so I got the surface cleaned here, and as you can see, the surface right there on the cylinder head has been cleaned, and I also replaced that o-ring down there. So I put a new o-ring there, and this is ready. So now let's install our new thermostat housing. So here it is right here. Now let's bring it here. I also swapped the coolant temperature sensor because the new one didn't come with the sensor. I had to get the sensor out of the old housing and install it in this. So this is gonna go right there. I mean, I don't think I can do this one-handed. I mean, centering this thermostat housing and holding the camera on the other hand just makes it so inconvenient. I'm gonna center all the bolts. So this is pretty much how you do it. You just get it centered and then you push it in towards the cylinder head. I'm gonna put the bolts on and then I'll bring you guys back up because I won't be able to center it, put the bolt while I'm holding the camera. So I'll put the bolt in and then bring you guys back up. Alright, so I got the thermostat housing installed. I got the bolts in place. So now let's tighten the thermostat housing bolts. Let's go with the center one. And then there's another one back here. And there's another one up front here. Okay, so these bolts are not really tight. No. You don't want to get all your strength out here because this cylinder head is aluminum, so you also don't want to over torque them. So I'm just gonna go by hand, just kind of nice and snug. Right there. Let's go with this. Then let's try this one here. Alright, thermostat housing is installed. So now what's next? The next step is reconnecting those heater hoses back on. Alright, so now let's reconnect these heater hoses. I'm gonna start with the bottom one. Okay, hopefully you guys can see what I'm doing. Just work it all the way in. And now I'm gonna bring in my pair of pliers here so we can install the clamp. Alright, so there is the bottom hose installed. So now let's install the upper one. Alright, so we got the hero hoses installed. So now let's back here and install the radiator hoses. So I'm gonna install the lower radiator hose first. This is gonna be tough to do while I'm holding the camera. Right there, so we got the lower radiator hose installed. So now let's install the upper radiator hose. Here comes the upper radiator hose. Alright, so here is our upper radiator hose installed. Alright, so the thermostat housing is back together, and I also connected these electrical wires that I disconnected. So we're almost done. Now the next step is gonna be putting back the filter box here, and then once I install the filter box, we're gonna top off the cooling system with some coolant, and then we're gonna start it to verify the repair. Alright, so let's get this air filter box installed. So it just pops in right there. Let's pop it in, and then this 12mm bolt is gonna go right here. And then we're gonna bring our air duct tube in the picture here. So I'm gonna install the Alright, so this air duct tube is secured. So now I'm gonna reconnect our intake air temperature sensor on. Now we're gonna bring this PCV tube there. So we are done. So now I'm gonna put the engine cover back on. I'm gonna fill up the radiator, and then we will start it so we can verify the repair. Alright, so now I'm gonna fill up the radiator with coolant. I'm actually putting 50-50 coolant here. This is not 100%. Alright, so I filled up the cooling system. So now I'm going to start the car so we can verify our repair. Alright, so as you guys can hear, the car is running, and I'm looking around the thermostat housing here to see if there's any leaks. Everything looks good. We don't have any leaks here. And this is a fix, guys. So everything looks good. We don't have any coolant leak. And as you guys can see, it's actually drier down there than it was before. So I'm gonna turn off the car so we can wrap up this video. Alright, I'm gonna put the engine cover back on. Alright, so the engine cover is installed. I'm gonna get this car out of the lift and take it on a test drive, and then I'll call the customer to come and pick up his car. So that's it. This is how you remove and replace a thermostat housing. in this 2007 Chrysler Sebring. I hope you like this video. If you do, give it a thumbs up. If you don't, give it a thumb down. But if you do, you gotta tell me why, so I can make better videos in the future, you know. I'm learning, so I learn every day. If you have any comments, questions, criticism, leave them in the comment box. And if you think there's a better way to do this, let me know. If there's anything you think I missed, or if there's any other method that you think that I should have covered that I didn't, please let me know. If this is your first time here, subscribe to my YouTube channel, K Diagnostics, and ring the bell so you can get notified every time I upload a new video. I am your humble servant, Dio Kitoko. See you guys next time.